The Nexari had conquered 17 star systems without firing a single shot. Their method was elegant, efficient, and utterly terrifying. They absorbed minds. One touch from their crystalline tendrils, and a consciousness would flow into their vast collective, adding its knowledge, memories, and essence to the whole. The original body would continue functioning, but as a hollow puppet, its strings pulled by the hive mind that spanned an entire world. They had assimilated warrior races, ancient philosophers, and technological savants. Each new mind strengthened them, expanded their understanding, made them more formidable. When their scouts reported a small human colony ship drifting at the edge of their territory, the Nexari saw only another modest addition to their collection. Marcus Rodriguez was asleep in his quarters when they took him. The mining engineer had been dreaming of Earth's blue skies, something he hadn't seen in 3 years. The tendril pierced his temple so gently he didn't even wake. In the depths of the Nexari homeworld, the collective consciousness prepared to welcome another mind into its eternal communion. But something went wrong. The moment Marcus's consciousness touched the collective, reality shrieked. Where other minds had flowed smoothly into the vast psychic ocean, his crashed into it like antimatter meeting matter. The Nexari had never encountered anything like it. A mind that didn't just resist assimilation but actively corrupted the process itself. Human consciousness, they discovered too late, was fundamentally different. Where other species had evolved linear thought patterns, humans had developed something chaotic, contradictory, and devastating to a hive mind: the ability to hold multiple conflicting ideas simultaneously. Cognitive dissonance, humans called it. The Nexari had no word for it because they had never conceived of such madness. Marcus's memories flooded into the collective, not as ordered streams but as a raging torrent of contradiction. He remembered loving his father and hating him. He believed in science yet kept his grandmother's lucky charm. He was terrified of death while simultaneously finding dark humor in mortality. Every human paradox, every moment of doubt, every instance where he'd believed 2 impossible things before breakfast crashed into the pristine order of the Nexari collective. The hive mind began to fracture. Billions of absorbed consciousnesses, held in perfect harmony for millennia, suddenly questioned their unity. Was absorption salvation or slavery? Were they one or many? The questions spread like wildfire through the psychic network, each doubt creating more fractures, more contradictions. On the planet's surface, the Nexari's crystalline cities began to pulse with discordant colors. The very ground trembled, as the collective consciousness that governed all aspects of their civilization writhed in confusion. Automated systems began to malfunction as the minds controlling them debated their own existence. Marcus, meanwhile, existed in a strange state within the collective. Unlike the others who had been absorbed, he maintained his sense of self precisely because he had never been certain what that self was to begin with. He was simultaneously part of the collective and separate from it, another paradox that sent ripples of agony through the hive mind. The Nexari tried to expel him, but human stubbornness, that infuriating trait that had allowed humanity to survive against all odds, kept him anchored. They tried to isolate him, but his chaotic thoughts had already infected billions. They tried to understand him, but understanding required accepting paradox, and accepting paradox meant abandoning the very foundation of their existence. Days turned to weeks. The planet screams. Psychic wails of a consciousness tearing itself apart, echoed across subspace. Other species detected the disturbance, ships arriving to witness the impossible. The Nexari homeworld convulsing as its unified mind battled itself. In the end, it was Marcus who offered a solution, broadcasting it through the fractured collective with typical human audacity. Stop trying to be one thing. Be everything. Be contradictory. Be messy. Be alive. Some Nexari accepted this. They broke free from the collective, becoming individuals for the first time in eons. Others rejected it, clinging to unity even as it dissolved around them. The planet split not physically but psychically into thousands of competing philosophies, each born from the seeds of human paradox. Marcus's body was eventually returned to his ship, his mind mostly intact though forever changed by the experience. As his vessel departed, he looked back at the Nexari world. Once a perfect sphere of unified thought, now a patchwork of conflicting ideologies and newborn individuals. He smiled, an expression both sad and satisfied. The Nexari had learned humanity's greatest secret, that strength didn't come from perfection or unity, but from the chaotic, contradictory, impossible mess of being truly alive. The planet still screams, but now some of those screams sound almost like laughter.